I still hear her whisper when the house goes quiet, "Daddy, come get me." It was a Sunday evening. I was cleaning the kitchen, half watching the clock, waiting for the weekend to end so I could pick up my daughter from my ex-place. My phone buzzed, her voice small, trembling. "Wrong. Daddy, come get me now." My breath stopped. "What's wrong, baby?" I asked. Silence. Then the words that broke something inside me. "Mom's boyfriend is here. He's doing things I can't even explain." I didn't think. I moved, grabbed my keys, my gun, my phone. The world blurred as I hit the highway. Every red light felt like an insult. When I reached the house, I didn't knock. I forced the door open. What I found made me call 911 before I could do anything else. When the divorce papers were signed 2 years earlier, I thought that was the worst of it. I was wrong. Emily had once been my whole life. We built a home, had a daughter, but she changed long before she left. I ignored the late nights, the evasive smiles, the sudden work trips because I wanted peace, not proof. She left, took half my savings, and our daughter on alternating weekends. I thought the law would be fair. I learned it how unfair the world can be to fathers who fight for their kids. It began small. Lala came back from visits quiet, drawing pictures of a tall man with a red face. When I asked, she changed the subject. One day she said he yells at mommy when I'm not there, but mommy says not to tell me. That night I couldn't sleep. Something crawled beneath my ribs, a knowing. I started to dig. I hid a recorder in Lala's backpack inside a toy and listened. What I heard was worse than anything I had imagined. A drunk man's laughter, glass shattering, my daughter crying, and Emily silent. That pain turned into purpose. I didn't rush in like a fool. Rage loses wars. Strategy wins them. I called a lawyer, a private detective, and a friend at Child Services. I documented everything: timestamps, recordings, reports. I wired a hidden camera in my car and another in a teddy bear I knew Saturday by her bed. I learned his schedule, his drinking patterns, his temper. I kept my words measured with Emily, soothed her when I needed her calm, asked the right questions when I needed proof. Then my phone rang that night. Lala's voice, whispering again. The plan hadn't been finished, but a child calling for help makes plans irrelevant. When I arrived, his truck was in the drive and lights flickered inside. I kicked open the door and found him close to my daughter, bottle in hand, Emily crying in a corner and not stopping him. I pulled Lala behind me and dialed 911. He launched. I didn't hesitate. The butt of my gun met his jaw before the operator even answered. When the police arrived, I handed them everything: the recordings, the videos, the timestamps. Emily screamed, not for Lala or herself, but for him. That scream told me everything I needed to know. 2 weeks later, she tried to spin the story, accused me of staging it, claimed I was violent. Evidence doesn't lie. The recordings, the bruises on Lala's arms, the Child Services reports, they painted a truth even her tears couldn't rewrite. She lost custody. He went to prison. I got my daughter back. I wasn't satisfied with just that. I sent a copy of the footage to her employer, the company she walked away from, the one she'd flaunted in court. Within days she was fired. Her world unraveled publicly, quietly, permanently. Now I tuck Lala in every night. She sleeps safe, her small hand wrapped around mine. Sometimes, in the dark, she still whispers, "Daddy, you came?" I nod. I don't tell her about the nights I park across from Emily's empty house and watch until I'm sure it's quiet. I don't tell her how Emily calls sometimes, sobbing into the void, begging forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't mine to give. Justice was, and I delivered it. Some things you can't forget. Some promises you keep with your hands and your patience. For my daughter, I kept both.